here with more space engineers. And yes, we're done with the physics testing for a little while. But as you can probably tell, I've been out doing a little bit of exploring. So I've been going out picking up the unknown signals, which, you know, like we were talking about last time, really good way of getting materials early on. So one of the things that we did do is we found a bunch of resources. So I went out, and while I was out collecting, you know, the unknown signals, I spotted a couple of areas where we had some minerals. So I went and took a look, and most of it was eh. Well, while I was out there, another signal spawned, so I was heading towards it and found more resources. And so yeah, like I was saying before, the polar caps, it looks like you can get resources with around them. And I'm sure that there's probably some in the middle that I just haven't found. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to talk a little bit today about ship design. And we're going to start working on building out a mining vehicle. Now, this thing I just did because I wanted some of the blocks that we can get from that. So now I can actually build windows. 1x1 flat. We're not doing anything with combat, so we don't have to worry quite so much. So get this started. We have a ridiculous amount of some basic stuff because I ended up mining out, I want to say close to 200k, maybe a little over 200k stone. And then we started doing the resource searching. And what I was able to do is I was able to find a good place to mine iron out. So, yeah. All right, so one of the things I want to address today is I'm actually playing with some new noise gate software. I've got some ambient noise reduction running on. So I've actually got a fan going in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it. If you can, let me know. What I'll do is at some point we're going to need to do a break. And when I do, I'll turn off the fan and see if there's a difference in the audio quality. So it's going to be a little bit of an experiment to see just exactly how everything's working and what's working for us here. Okay. So we've got that in. We can now those done. And I'm thinking, let's see, we need, can I build, oh I can, okay. So what I'm thinking here is we'll do something, let's see, that puts us, okay, I believe that will put us head in instead of head out, which is cool. Alright, and it's not like we really need to do a whole lot of stuff with this. We do want to have a place that we can, you know, kind of AFK if we need to. And we're going to do a door, which we can now build, which is awesome. And from that, we're going to do that. See if we can. Oh, we actually have most of the stuff for that. Alright. So we're just waiting for the bulletproof glass and steel tubes.
Energy critical.
Right. And we have a way in and out, which is good. Okay. We're gonna hop in here for a second. Alright, so we've got 4 solar panels on the actual base now, so that's actually collecting quite a bit of power for us. I haven't been able to find any uranium yet. That's going to be our next big goal, is finding that, but I was able to find both gold, silver. I found multiple deposits of things like nickel, cobalt, iron, even some magnesium and silicon. So we actually have pretty much all of the basic materials accounted for. The only thing we're looking for at this point is uranium. We've even got a couple of platinum deposits. So we're going to be able to build thrusters sooner rather than later. What I'm thinking of doing, though, is leaving this as basically our little outpost base, just to get us started. We'll get a mining vehicle built up, and I think we may even have it do a little bit of welding for us. Oh, but we're all vanilla, so we don't have any of the really cool drills and mining pieces that make life a little bit easier for us. But we have this handy dandy starter ship that we can, let's say, repurpose a little bit. Now, see, the thing I don't like is that if we do a small grid, do I have access to drills yet? I do. Okay. Oh, awesome. It's these guys. Okay. I take that back. This will work fine. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to convert this thing over into a bit of a drilling rig. But I need to get thrusters on it. In order to get thrusters on it, we have to have platinum, which means I have to hit one of the platinum locations, which is 9 kilometers one way, and where's the other platinum at? Some platinum out there somewhere. Where is it? I'm not seeing you. Where did you go? Go all the way out there. Now I know I found some platinum. Easy way to do it. Platinum. So that's actually pretty close. Yeah. 4 kilometers, which is not too bad. Because it's about the same distance out. Well, it's a little further out than the iron mine, but that's okay. Alright. So let's see if our parts are done. So what are you missing? So you're missing silicon. Let you start producing the other stuff, because the only thing that looks like you're missing is the bulletproof glass. Are you really missing silicon? Wow, we are out of silicon. Okay, so that means we have to go pull some out. Okay. Let's drop that stuff off. And drop that off. Okay. Because we're going to need the silicon and everything anyway, because like I said, I don't need this to be a full-on functioning base, so I don't need a full assembler, I don't need the big refinery, but we do need the basic stuff in order to build these things. Actually, to make the thrusters, I am going to need to have a full assembler. Oh, crap. Okay. Oh, so I guess we are going to build one. Alright. You are still missing... What are you missing? Bulletproof glass, huh? Okay, so you are up and running enough to be running. Which means we can close that off. Which means, let's get some of this stuff off our inventory here, or off our control bar. I actually won't. Let's see, that's going to come out 1. Alright, so how about we do this? Can I build... No, survival. Right. Yeah. So if we build something, say, like this here. Helps if I am in the right area. Okay, so how much iron do we have? So let's queue this up. So queue that up. And we'll grab one of these and queue that up. And then the other one is going to be conveyor junction. Yep. Now we're going to help to queue everything up that we don't have. We're going to drop EU there. Put this... needs steel plates. Alright. And we'll put a vent here. Right. And before we get too far in there, don't need you to make medical components because we're going to take the small rover that we have apart and we're going to cannibalize that. So you're mostly done. And let's see, we're still making those. You're missing just steel plates. I get you up and running. Said they don't have to be completely full, they just have to be full enough to get done. Okay. Interesting. Let's go grab the parts. Should be done. And we'll start cannibalizing the ship that we have. So normally, when we're talking new starts, specifically for new players, cannibalizing the rover that you start with is either going to be one of the first things or last things you do. It just depends on what your comfort level is and how lucky you were with where you started. So, like I said, this particular area is kind of desolate. We don't have a whole lot going on. Let's get rid of that for a second and see if we can spot any resources, because if you remember when we were here last time, not really seeing anything. And that's a problem. But if we head that direction, we run into stuff. And I think that if we, realistically, if we went about that direction or so, pretty much northwest, I'm pretty sure we would run into resources, probably even closer than the ones we found. But that's actually, the area over there is really nice. There's like a lot of wide open locations, which I think are going to suit us a little bit better than the mountainous area here. Now we could actually go and do a full-on like subterranean build, but those kind of present challenges that may not necessarily be what we're looking for this build through, but is what it is. Anyway. So what we're going to do is we may as well go ahead and take that off. You have a bunch of gravel and stone in it. Let's grab all this. We'll leave the O2 or the ice in there so that the O2 generator keeps working. I still need steel plates. Alright. Oh. I know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and transfer basically all of this stuff over. And we're actually doing pretty good for cargo right now. Binary doesn't have a whole lot left in it. but that's okay. It doesn't need to. And I may go ahead and leave this for now. The only thing I do want to take off is I want to get that out. So 2 generator. You are the survival kit. So you are going to come out. If you ever want to see the back end of one of these, that's what's in there. Not a whole lot. But the reason we wanted that survival kit is so that I can get this one up and running. And the reason we want this one up and running is so that we can go, hey, look. Alright. We can get into most of the inventory from here, which is good. Alright. And just to make sure... Okay, you do hold an atmosphere, yes? Oh, because the O2 generator is turned off, I bet. No? It's turned on. What are you? What's causing the problem here? Recharge in 3 hours.
Low.
Ah, there we go. Just had to kick it over. Right. And you're missing silicon, right?
Energy low.
That's okay, because we can recharge. We're recharging our health, we're recharging our power, we've recharged our hydrogen and oxygen. Everything's piped in and working just fine. So, I mean, you can actually get one of these up and running really, really quickly. What I did was, in order to save materials, I went with half walls for the floors, including the floor in front of the door. And then light armor slopes for the walls. Basically, instead of using full blocks, this cuts your materials in half. So for about 300 metal, 300 iron plates, you can build this entire structure. And I could have put half block up in where the window is, but this allows me to have a little bit of natural light, so even if I'm AFK, I'm not, you know, completely. So let's go here, light, and I want a corner light, and you are really ridiculously cheap, right? Three construction components. Alright, let's get these. Actually have them all. Okay. You know what? Let's put it on the door side. Now that we're here, grab this. 7.5 meters should be fine. And drop it to half intensity. There we go. Alright, so now the only thing I need is the bulletproof glass to finish this little beastie off. What are you missing? Oh, you're just missing steel plates. Actually, do I have any plates? I do. Okay. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's make that light a little bit brighter. There we go. Works for me. Okay. Now, because of the fact that we have this area sealed off, it's warm, it's breathable atmosphere, which means it's a whole lot of power reduction on our suit. We don't have to be fighting for heat in order to keep us alive, which is a usually a good thing. Alright, so if we've got all of that, I mean, that is our base done at this point. I'm not going to worry about doing an airlock because, well, we don't need to. We've got enough ice located nearby that we can get everything done. Alright, so what I'm thinking we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick cut. I'm going to head over towards the silicon. It looks like the closest one is about 5 kilometers. So we'll go pick up some silicon, bring that back, get the glass done so we can get the bed built. And then we'll start talking about what we need to do for a ship build. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick cut and we will be right back. Okay, so yeah, we're back. So we have brought back a couple K of iron, nickel, and cobalt. And it looks like a little bit left of the nickel to be refined. I think we can move most of this down here at this point. Alright, so cobalt's what's being processed now, which is good. Obviously going to need to go grab a crud ton more of iron. And then we had to make a little change back here. I went ahead and put in the half blocks because I keep forgetting that these things mount at a weird altitude, at a weird angle. So these don't always match up exactly where we need it to be. So let's pull this thing around the corner here and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about, hopefully. Alright, so we need to cut this a wee bit closer. Alright. And now we play the how close can we get everything? Alright, so we need to line up our center right there. And hopefully not destroy the base in the process. Alright, so if you notice, this thing isn't necessarily where it needs to be, right? There's a very real height differential there. So now we can, if we had used full blocks, we could try to drop the pod down. What I'm going to try and do though is let's see if we get into the wheels. Well, that is the maximum height. I don't know if that's going to be close enough. I may need to put a small ramp in here to lift this whole thing up. I'm going to be mad if I have to move everything out and do full grids again. Oh, alright. Let's see, do we have you in here? No. Okay, so let's get you. Get you. And you just need small tubes. Let's get all of that manufacturing. So yeah, it's been a rather long afternoon. All this to get a base going. And, you know, part of the space engineer's experience, right? And we haven't even gotten to the point where we're ready to actually start building. We still have to get more materials. Oh, so it may actually end up being a better idea to tear all this down and relocate over closer to our materials. Or potentially find some materials a little bit closer. It would be really nice if there was stuff like in this general area. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything over here. I mean, there might be something. Looks like there's something over towards the horizon over there, maybe. But I am not seeing a dang thing in our local neighborhood. That figures. Alright, well, is what it is. Well, like I said, we'll make do with what we've got. But these are definitely questions that you need to ask yourself when you're doing this type of thing is this a good use of my time? And I'm thinking it might actually be better to break this whole thing down and relocate over somewhere else, but is what it is for right now. And let's see here. Hey, that works. Don't knock it till you try it, right? So we're going to have you switch lock. And you will be the toggle block on and off. Alright, so if we do that, our ship can now recharge. Okay. It works for now. That's all that matters. Alright, so what we need here, we're gonna go ahead and grab let's grab our gear. And I don't have any plates on me, right? Okay. I do have a plate. Alright, so we've got a bit of iron in there. Let's go ahead and grab 100 of those, let those run really quick. And so what we're going to do is we're going to square up here. And we'll come over here so it's mostly out of the way. Alright. And what I will tend to do is I like to have a couple of blocks between me and the surface. Mainly because of the fact that it just makes it a little bit easier getting things in place. So I usually do somewhere between 3 and 5 blocks. Actually, we're going to go 3 this time. And then you have a choice. You can either start building at the backside, the middle, or the front. I tend to build generally starting around the middle. That gives me enough room to plan things to go forward or aft if I need to. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to start from the beginning. And I don't have any control shares unlocked yet. Okay, let's see here. Need to build the landing gear in order to unlock basically everything else, huh? Alright. Okay, you. Let's see if we should have everything we need for that, I think. Alright. So have almost everything we need. You're missing iron. Alright, so we're going to disassemble 10 of you. There we go. it's not like I want the landing gear finished. There we go. Now you have a couple of choices here with these, as pretty much everything else. You know, you have fighter cockpits, you have the industrial cockpit, which is 10, 60, 20, 80, 90, 100, 38. And you have the old industrial cockpit, which is ridiculously cheap to make. Now, the reason why I was saying sacrifice ships, because you see, we have a lot less to do if we use that. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this thing... Oh, you're going to do that. Oh, all right. Place you there. Gets us 4 blocks up off the ground, right? Yeah. And then what we can do is, as we're building, we can basically salvage this entire thing. Now, the thing that we're going to need is we're going to need these guys, which we can't use yet. Okay, what do we need to unlock those? We have to build a cockpit. Alright. Now, I'm going to try this. Let's see if this works. Yep. Okay, that works. Now, there we go. Now the difference between the sci-fi, if you have the DLC, and the regular thrusters, as you can tell, small thruster, same parts, just different styling. I like the styling of the sci-fi thruster systems, so that's what we're going to be using. And since we're on the moon, we don't actually need a whole lot of thrust in most conditions. But we are going to use these. The problem is that we do need thruster components. And each one of those thruster components is going to require us to have an actual assembler, which we don't have. We only have this little beast. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the assembler. We're going to place it here. And I make sure that we have it in our build planner. Make sure we have nothing in our inventory before we do this. Let's see here. Just drop those off there. And what do you need? You actually need quite a bit, but we should have at least some of this. And then the stuff we don't have, we're going to tell, this system to build it. So basically, we're going to have it build all of the components that we can. Once it's done building everything that we need for the assembler, we'll take the basic assembler out, put the full assembler in, and we'll be able to start building the thruster components. So that gets all of that going, which is going to take me, like I said, I'm going to have to go do quite a bit of mining, which I'm not looking forward to, but hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? And we have used all of our plates already. Have you sit over there. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna have to go grab more stuff here in a minute. See if we can, how much of this we can get. That's good. We don't need the rest of the parts. Because what we can do is we can always, and empty. We can always grab another copy of whatever we're building and then tell it to requeue the parts that we need. Alright, so now that we have that, actually I need interior plates too, because I need to place a cargo container. Alright, so we have that. Now this has, let's do O2, get that out of there, get that out of there. Now remember, this is a basic cockpit, so it's going to have that. So that'll give us our O2, which we're not going to need a whole lot of. Now I do want this to have a large cargo, but there you go. And I think that is centered. Maybe. Let's check. Really? Space engineer's just flinging me around today. All right. And of course. Alright. That does look like it's centered. Yeah, it should be centered. Okay. So we'll go with that being the assumption that that is centered, and we'll make everything else work for us. Yeah. Signal detected. Let's go grab some parts. See? In the middle of a ship build, Clang has decided to deliver upon us more materials. I'd like to get the planning of this thing done just so that we can get it going. What I'm probably going to end up doing is going grab the platinum that we need, grab more iron, definitely take the little rover out, go pick up, you know, like 15k of each or something. Alright. Hey, you got a zebra welder. Yeah, look at that.
Energy low.
Ooh, sensor. These are always fun to find. And that should be cargo. Yep. Hey, look at that. We even got some thruster components out of there, I think.
Energy critical.
No, Clang, don't steal my parts. Thank you. Where's my base? There it is. Whee! There we go. Alright, let's head back. Turn the dampeners off just to save a little bit of fuel, not that it matters. Yeah, not seeing a whole lot in the way of resources in the local area other than stone. Alright. How's the battery doing on this? Alright. There we go. Oh, may as well get that charged up while we're here. So you are really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that block like that. Huh. Wonder if Keen finally got around to fixing that. We'll find out. I don't think it is. I think it's just because of the angle, which means that's probably going to lose signal in a bit. All right. Anyway. You are... Okay, so we need... We want you guys in that way. Alright. Yes, okay. And so that puts a large connector onto the large connector here, large connector on the bottom, and a large connector aft with small connectors on either side. That's important because we're going to be utilizing most of these because we're going to have a connector down here. And then since it's got the large conveyor connections on the front, bottom, and aft, means we can connect things to it and be able to move large volumes of cargo around. Okay, so we got that. I am going to go... I need small conveyors. Okay, so you are going to come off of here. And here. Actually, because I want to have a little bit of control over it. That should be good there. And how many did that end up being? That was 1, 2, 3, 4 off of the 2, 3, and 4. Puts the drill there. Now, for flight systems, we actually have a couple of choices here. We could go hydrogen, actually. Let me make sure I can. Yes, I can use hydrogen tanks. Okay. So we could do a hydrogen tank on this with hydrogen thrusters, which would be cheaper and easier. Or we can do the ion. If we do ion, then we have to worry about batteries. Which... honestly, I think batteries are going to be the best way to go. It should give me the best endurance as well as usability. All right, so if we do there's going to be a connector on the bottom. I may need to flip those drills so that I can get 4 drills in there. So if we do that, battery there, means we can tuck an ore detector in one side and antenna in the other. We can put a gyro back here so that it's completely out of the way. Interesting. Did I put these? Oh yeah, I did, huh? I forgot I put these in here. Alright. Well, that's easy then. Space only. You are the... Oh, hello. There we go. I'll put you there. It's 2 batteries. I'll probably end up putting... Let's go... Battery. I have you lined up. I have you lined up like that, right? So if we look down the line, check to make sure everything is balanced. We don't want this to be any more awkward than it needs to be. It would be really nice if these cargo containers were even number of blocks. Let's say that'd be 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it'd be so much better if these things were even. Alright, so let's do it this way then. So we could do that. Then we end up with the batteries way up on the side. Or we can do thruster down low. We do battery like that. I mean, because then we could even, if we really wanted to, we could just build a battery cluster back here. Something like that, maybe. And that means we can take this battery out. And then if we're going to do thrusters, let's go gives us, that'll give us 4 thrusters for lift. And we'll tuck a couple more in here. The ore detector on it. We can do a couple thrusters for lateral. A couple more for lateral there. Got a large thruster for propulsion. Alright, so I'm thinking let's take you and you out. Actually, you know what we could do? We could do large thruster here. Because we're going to end up with a connector on here. Let's get our connector in. All right. And then the only thing we have left to do is to throw some thrusters in for vertical, for descent control, which we've got plenty of space that we can kind of work those into somewhere. Because for that, we don't need a whole lot. I'll probably just leave those there. And we'll just have like 4 for ascent control and descent control. Gets us a fairly compact build. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up having to flip those drills. In fact, we may as well just go ahead and do that right now. Because what's going to happen is we're going to have to mount probably a second drill. There and there. And then do the same thing here and there. And that should give me enough clearance. Yeah, should give me enough clearance to get everything into a drill hole and out of a drill hole and be able to get cargo back to the base. Okay, so now it's time to weld all of this up, which means I have to take that beast all the way back over there to get a crap ton more materials. Meh. You know what? I think we're gonna do this the easy way. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and call this one here. I want to thank y'all for stopping and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw those down in the section below. Like I said, for this, it really is, when you're building any type of vehicle, you really want to just kind of plan what its primary usage is going to be. Because once you have an idea of that, the rest of the ship just kind of builds itself. You know, yeah, there is the question of how much experience do you have with the parts and making the parts do what you want them to do. But that's just something that you'll learn over time. There's not a whole lot people can help you with there other than giving you some suggestions on, you know, build styles. You will eventually figure out what works for you, and that's what's important. Space Engineers, like every other game, really is about having fun, and if you're not having fun, you know, you just have to figure out why. So go ahead and grab the rest of this. Mine out this a little bit. That should be enough to get me out of there. It doesn't have to. I'm not going to make this a normal path, so. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy your week, and we will see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody.